and initiated her into the intimacies of lovemaking. She'd shared her innocence with him, and he thought he'd made her happy. Certainly it had been one of the best evenings of his life. He pondered that fact for a moment. "Do you regret last night?" "No. I'm glad you were my first. It's what I wanted since we met." He placed his hand on her cheek, tracing her skin with his thumb. "I'm honored to have been your first." He leaned forward, his eyes unblinking. "But I want to be your last." She smiled and lifted her lips to meet his. Before he could embrace her, the chimes of Big Ben filled the room. "Ignore it," he whispered fiercely, his arms stretching across her body, pushing her to recline beneath him. Her eyes darted over his shoulder to where his iPhone lay on the desk. "I thought she wasn't going to call you anymore." "I'm not answering, so it doesn't matter." He kneeled between her legs and lifted the sheet from her body. "In my bed, there's only us." She searched his eyes as he began to bring their naked bodies into closer contact. Gabriel leaned forward to kiss her, but she turned her head. "I haven't brushed my teeth." "I don't care." He lowered his lips to her neck, kissing across her quickening pulse. "I'd like to clean up first." He huffed in frustration, leaning on one elbow. "Don't let Paulina ruin what we have." "I'm not." She tried to roll out from under him and take the sheet with her, but he caught hold of it. He gazed over the rims of his glasses, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "I need the sheet to make the bed." Her eyes traveled from the white fabric that was clutched between her fingers to his face. He looked like a panther waiting to pounce. She glanced over the side of the bed at the pile of clothes on the floor. They were beyond her reach. "What's the problem?" he asked, stifling a grin. Julia blushed and gripped the material more tightly. With a chuckle, he released the sheet and pulled her into his arms. "You don't need to be shy. You're beautiful. If I had my wish, you'd never wear clothes again." He pressed his lips to her earlobe, gently touching the diamond stud. He was certain his adoptive mother, Grace, would have been happy that her earrings found their way to Julia. With another brief kiss, he turned away, sliding over to sit on the edge of the bed. She slipped into the washroom, but not before Gabriel caught sight of her alluring back as she dropped the sheet just outside the door. While brushing her teeth, she thought about what had transpired. Making love with Gabriel had been a very emotional experience, and even now her heart felt the aftershocks. That wasn't surprising, considering their history. She'd wanted him since she spent a chaste night with him in an orchard when she was 17. But he'd been gone when she awoke the next morning. He'd forgotten her in the aftermath of a drunken, drug-induced haze. 6 long years passed before she saw him again, and then he didn't remember her. When she encountered him again on the first day of his graduate seminar at the University of Toronto, he was attractive but cold, like a distant star. She hadn't believed then that she'd become his lover. She hadn't believed it possible that the temperamental and arrogant professor would reciprocate her affection. There were so many things she hadn't known. Sex was a kind of knowledge, and now she knew the sting of sexual jealousy in a manner she'd never experienced before. The mere idea of Gabriel doing what they'd done with some other woman, and in his case many other women, made her heart ache. She knew that Gabriel's trysts were different from what they'd shared, that they were assignations not brought about by love or affection. But he'd undressed them, seen them naked, and entered their bodies. After being with him, how many of those women craved more? Paulina had. She and Gabriel had maintained contact over the years since they conceived and lost a child together. Julia's new understanding of sex changed her views of his past and made her more sympathetic to Paulina's plight, and all the more guarded against losing Gabriel to her or to any other woman. Julia gripped the edge of the vanity as a wave of insecurity washed over her. Gabriel loved her. She believed this. But he was also a gentleman, and would never reveal that their union had left him wanting.